Morning, hope you're going well. Wednesday today. Drenching lambs this morning, frosty start again. So yeah, lambs will be a bit, it's only a bit after about 7:30. Lambs will be a bit dewy for a little bit, but anyway, we'll get them in and get into them. Hopefully we might be able to get them all done today. We'll just see how we go. About 1,200 here in the mob, so. Tony's here, but I'll probably get him to go off and do some other stuff, just so it's not tying the two of us up. So, yeah, it's the doggos and I on the job. So anyway, they're just out the front of our house here next to the yard, so hopefully it won't take too long to run them in, and then yeah, we can get organised and get into them. Sit down. So we got them in after, yeah, went round and round and round a couple of times a bit. So they are doing well. They are starting to get a bit, you can sort of see they look a bit, it's probably the time of the day too, they're a bit damp, but they're a bit scruffy in the wool. So they are starting to get a bit dry, some of them. So those sort of smaller fellas will be better off shorn. So yeah, I must get onto the shearing contractor, but yeah, that'll be the sort of next thing with them is, yeah, shear them, I think. So we'll obviously get a top out of them or weigh a top out of them before we shear them, and then they can fill this sort of $12 contract we've got. So anyway, we'll fill the pen up and yeah, get into it. As I said, there's about 1,200 here, so there's going to be a few hours anyway. All right, all done. Not too bad, about 3.5 hours with a half an hour smoko break. So yeah, you do about 400 an hour though. Longest bit's getting them, penning them up. If you had someone in the back gate here opening and closing it, it'd speed the job up a little bit. So anyway, we'll leave them in the yards here overnight, just let them empty out, and hopefully if they've got any worms in them, they'll drop them out. And then yeah, we'll just let them straight out to the north there onto that bit of green stuff, and hopefully they'll grow. So the plan is we'll get a draft. I think he did mention we'll get a draft out of them. Probably going to shear in a fortnight, I reckon, first or second week of September. So we'll get a draft out of them before then, take a top, and then we'll shear everything else. Yeah, because as I said, they are starting to, although they're not too bad, but there are a few that are starting to get a bit long in the wool, and yeah, generally when that sort of happens, they start to produce wool rather than, you know, put weight on with meat. So there is still quite a few that are, like this bloke just here, still quite sappy, but yeah, I've only got the second one in off the fence there, like he's quite gone dry and woolly. So yeah, it's probably time to give him a haircut and a freshen up. So. All right, I'm going to have some lunch, and then, yeah, not too sure what we'll do after lunch then. There's, we've got Chris is here, or he's not here. He'll be, our Macdon mechanic, he'll be here in the morning, so or tonight. So I may actually get the header out and swap the faceplate over. Then I can lift the big draper front off, and also the pickup front wants picking up and putting in the shed. So I may even do that after lunch, and yeah, that'll be one less thing out of the road. We do have, there's a fence over here that needs the stay welding on it. The post got knocked out, so the stay wants welding back on it, and a couple of gates welding back on, so that'll need to be done before shearing. And then, yeah, we've got the fence line sprayer. I want to get all the fence lines sprayed, so it needs to be put together too. So, as usual, not hard to find a job. Hokey pokey. So if you're a newbie to the channel, we run a John Deere corn front, and obviously the hookup point is different. So we've got this faceplate that we made up to suit the John Deere. So we've just got a 5 bolts, there's 3 in the middle, and then 2 down, 1 either side down the bottom here, and then we just swap them over. I'll get the backhoe's the only loader we've got here at the moment, so I'll grab it and we'll slip it off, and the other one's over in the shed there, put it back on, and then we can pick the front up. Well, what I might do is pick the canola front up and get it out of the weather, and then we'll if Chris, when he services the big front, I don't know what work needs to be done on the big front. If he wants to service it, the big front, or run it, he can. We need to change those couple of front concaves can come out. And then just waiting on the header mechanic to come. I actually haven't washed it since after harvest, so I need to probably give it a wash too. Anyway, we had an O-ring, just hit me hand. We had an O-ring go up here, and all it's done is put oil everywhere, and then the dust sucked to it and just made a mess. Way it is, unfortunately. So anyway, we'll get these undone and get this swapped over. All done. So I had to actually, we're babysitting a fire truck for the next 2 weeks, I think. So we've got a couple of trucks here in our local brigade that are close handy with neighbours, and I've just got a neighbour going away. So so it's, Tony was heading out the other farm, so I got him to drop me out there to pick that up. We're looking after that for the next 2 weeks. So, so in the meantime, we got all this bolted back up again. The guys, Chris and Michael from Earthy Ag, are here, so they're our Macdon mechanics. So they're going to start on the tractor. There's a couple of jobs to do. There's not a lot to do. We had to sort of give everything a fair birthday last year, so there's a little bit to do over there. I'll just see, I might be a bit sneaky, I might be able to get a bit of footage of them. I'm going to go over the front for the Windrower. He's over at the new farm in the shed over there, so I'm going to go over there and grab it and bring it back. I think it needs new draper roller bearings, and we've got a bit of an issue with, we put a new set of draper mats on it last year, and they're worn out in one season, so I'm not too sure what's happened there. So we're going to investigate that one. I'm just going to try and pick this canola front up now. before I duck over there and see how we, just pick it up and get it out of the weather more so than anything. It should have been done before now, but it hasn't been, so not ideal. Anyway, and Tony's just moved over to Oak Park now, the other farm out the back, and I'm just cleaning a few sticks. There's a couple of piles of sticks there he just wanted to push up and clean up, and then that job's done. He's sprayed done the other load of gramoxone on the corn stubble, so we'll just see. If it's pretty warm today, we might even think about burning it tomorrow, just before they are talking about a rain next week again. So I'm not going to hold my breath, but it'd be good to get it burnt just in case it does rain. Righto, so the day's sort of gone a bit southwards. Chris is in the centre, and I'll probably show you. In the centre of the final drives on the Windrower, there's a sort of main drive gear. So they're a bit worn last year, and what he did is he swapped them left to right, so it was wearing the back side of the gear. So I got him to order new ones for this year, which was fine. But when he's opened one side of taken the cover off I call them a planetary. They're probably a gear motor. I don't know what you call them. Anyway, we've got sparkly oil. So he's thinking the gears look alright. So he's thinking the bearings are actually starting to collapse or starting to go. So what we're going to have to do is, or what he's going to do is, he's serviced the machine and done a few other jobs on it that needed doing, and we're going to tow it in the because he's dropped the oil out of the gear out of the planetary. We're going to just tow we can basically put the gears into the planetaries into neutral if I can get it out, and we'll just tow it into the shed, and then I've backed the tractor and laser bucket out, and we'll tow it in there, and then I'll duck into town in the morning and borrow some jack stands, and we'll get it up on stands, and then he's going to take the wheels off it and take those planetaries home, and do the bearings back at home where he's got bearings for it. It's a reasonably common thing that happens. So, but anyway, as I said to him, he said, he's only thinking perhaps only doing one side, and I said, nah. I said, if one side's that way, the other side mightn't be far away either, and he hasn't got the cover off it. It may well be the same, but it's better off doing them now while they're in the shed rather than trying to do it out in the paddock somewhere. So that's cool. And then I've gone over to get the Windrower front from over at the new block, and it's got a tyre on it that's stuffed. So I'm now heading for home in disgust. Anyway, that's all right. Anyway, we might reconvene in the morning because we hasn't been a hell of a lot on this one. I'm not too sure which direction I'm heading in the morning. I'll have to go to town, obviously, first thing to get those stands, but we'll see what happens tomorrow, and just one of them things, unfortunately. But anyway, it's better now than when we're trying to windrow. Morning. So a bit of a milk run this morning. I've just been I've been to Josh's just to have a look at these channel pads. So we're just going to wait and see what happens with the weather next week. Hopefully we get 40, 50 mil of rain. It's too wet to do anything. He's still got an excavator there. He's got a bit of work to do yet before we can do anything. So there's no point we could do probably one of the channel pads, but the other one, it'd be a few days anyway. So it's we might as well wait until it's all done, and then we can just come over and spend 2 or 3 days there and get it sorted. I've just been and we've got to pull the front, as I mentioned, pull the planetaries out of the Windrower, so I've just been ducked into town and borrowed some stands, so I'm just heading back now. Hopefully, I'll have you under, Chris. Hopefully we can get a bit of footage of that going on, so we're just going to have to, they're going to back it up into the shed, and then once they get it jacked up, we'll get the backhoe, and they're pretty heavy, so we'll lift them out with that, and so that'll be a bit cool. But anyway, it's just more a preventative thing. The bearings haven't actually failed, but they're sort of on the outer, just with a bit of wear that he was sort of finding. Tony's I think he's gonna rinse the boom spray, and we'll start and get onto this, a fungicide and a wild oat spray on the barley, so that'll probably consume most of his day. So sun shining, wasn't a frost this morning. So yeah, weather forecast for next week still looks okay, weather rain wise, so we'll just fingers crossed, yeah, we get something, because we're going to start and look for it otherwise. Come down a bit, sorry.
Oh, what can you have about the hub from means? You can get in there to get the bolts out, can you?
Yeah. If we've got a piece of wood about that long, we might be able to just wedge it in there and hold the motor out for us.
Oh, yeah.
It's just going to sit here, John.
Yeah, and then I'll pick it up later. Yeah.
So fast forward a couple of hours, so I've just been to a just a short sheep field day round at Sarah's brother's place. Actually next door, I forgot all about it, and then one of the girls from Elders rang me and said, "You come to this field day?" So yeah, so I was about ready to have a cup of coffee after Chris and Michael from Earthy Ag left, and Gemma rang, so I jumped in the ute and headed around there. So this is where we're at with the Windrower. So they've taken those final drivey bits. You've got the, I don't know, so as I've mentioned, wheel motor, planetary or final drive. That's what I call them. So anyway, so we've got it up on stand. So Chris is going to take them home and rebuild them, put new bearings in them. It's just easier. He's got a few special tools made up and that sort of thing. So it was just as easy. So you would have saw we lifted it off. They're pretty heavy, so it was easy enough to lift them out with the backhoe. Tony's out spraying. I've just got the buggy set up. I've just got a bit of fuel siphoning into it. I'm going to try and have a go at burning some of these corn stubbles. I'll get one done anyway, and then we'll see how we're going for time and whether it's cooled off. It's not going to rain tomorrow, so I'll even if I do one today and one tomorrow, something like that, get them done out of the road. What I haven't mentioned, or I don't think I have, what we were going to do with this. So we've got the Macdon, I'll come around and show you. We've got the Macdon mower conditioner, with the sickle, like the knife front rather than disc mower, that if you've been watching along for ever and a day, you would have seen us use. So it's just here in the shed. The tractor needs putting back. I got it out because I thought the boys were going to bring the Windrower in here, but anyway. So what we've got, might be someone here too by the dog barking. So we've got this thing here. So it's an A40, that's the model number, Macdon mower conditioner. So the trouble we have with it is fantastic machine for doing lucerne, alfalfa if you're overseas, but lucerne, short crops, it's great, does a really good job. Now the problem we've got is when we start and do oats and that sort of thing, or tall crops, we just don't have the clearance between the reel and the floor, and that reel's not like a header front, it's actually fixed, we can't lift it up. What we were going to do was, these are basically, will go on the tractor, so all they really are is the pull frame with the wheels. This actual front bit will come unhooked without too much buggerising around, and then you just have a different set of arms to pick it up. So yeah, I spoke to Chris about it ages ago, and we've been talking about it for a while. What we were going to do was set this up on the tractor. So effectively, we weren't putting ours on another tractor or tying a tractor up. When we're cutting hay, it could go on the Windrower tractor, and then it's just a few more hours on it, and probably utilises it a bit more. So we were going to pull the trigger on doing that. It would have been a bit of mucking around. Now the other thing I was going to try and do was, me being me, we were going to try and set this reel up like a header reel, so we could actually lift it up and fore and after, in and out, just to get that gap. If we could get that gap lifted, be able to lift it up off the knife like we can a header reel, we'd be able to get more product through it. What I've found in the last 24 hours is a mower front that would go on that Macdon tractor at an auction. So what we're thinking is, it's a 13 foot, so this is a 16 foot, so it's a 13 foot, so it's a bit narrow, which would suit that machine probably a bit better. So yeah, we'll just see. What we might try and do is if we can get our hands on that one, and then we would sell this. Yeah, so anyway, I just thought I'd touch on that because we were going to take to that, and that wasn't going to be a 5-minute job. Like, it was going to take, probably a day to get it unhooked, a day to get it hooked up, and then God knows how long to muck around with that reel if we did the reel. But yeah, once you sort of started with the mucking around with the reel, the hook up and unhook's the easy bit. Once we start mucking around the reel, you're sort of committed to get it done. So with the 1,000 other things that seem to be happening around here at any one time, it's probably a week or 10 days that I don't have spare. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. There's a couple of different, the Massey Ferguson make a really good mower conditioner head for their self-propelled windrowers, and you can actually get a kit to adapt the Massey to the Macdon. So there's actually a couple of Massey heads, Massey Ferguson mower heads in this same auction. So we've got sort of 3, and it might be a case of, I think they're in Geelong. It's one of those big auctions. There's a handful of them, Pickles and Mannerheim and Ritchie Brothers. So I think it's actually a Ritchie Brothers one. So yeah, so because we've got a couple of 100 hectares of hay to cut ourselves, and then not that we do a lot of sort of contract hay work now, but it would just be good, if we're doing lucerne, the plan is to sort of keep doing lucerne here. If you've got that set up over the summer, you can just jump in it and go on, as far as teaching. Like Lily, when she gets here, like, she'll be driving this, so if she can drive it with like it's a damn sight easy to learn how to drive it when you've only got a front on it as wide as the machine, as wide as the tractor, as opposed to the Windrower front that's 10.5 metres wide. So that aside, that's not why I'm purely doing it. We've been talking about doing it for a while purely because we're a bit limited with what we can do with that, the male conditioner we've got. So anyway, that's just something else. So righto, I'll go and jump this side by side and grab my water bottle, and we'll see if we can go and get some smoke going. I'll just show you this quickly, if those of you that haven't seen it. If you're burning stubbles, we don't do a lot of burning, but it's a damn sight. This thing's a damn sight better than what we used to use. So it's called a 2 Easy Fire Stick. Just jump on Google and Google it, it'll come up. We got sent this fella, I think Andrew, out of, he's up in Ayr in Queensland, I think, from memory. We've had it for a little bit while now, but remote control, you've got a little 20 litre or 25 litre boat fuel tank and then a little pump. So the normal drip torches, they're lit all the time, so you're effectively dripping fire wherever you're going. This thing, you don't. It's only activated when you press the button, so it just shoots it out one side. And if you want to go to the right hand side, you can shoot it. Just a bit of stale fuel in that one, it'll get going in a minute. Shoots it out the right hand side. As soon as you take your finger up off the button, it stops. So yeah, really good idea. So yeah, 2 Easy Fire Stick. So yeah. And the beauty of it is you don't get covered in it. Like anyone that's used the old RFS drip torch, firebug, or whatever they call them, you generally got diesel and petrol up to your elbows by the time you finish. So yeah, all right, there's not a heap here. There's a few just unburnt windrows that windrows that we didn't pick up when we baled it, and probably the check banks in this one. So whereas the other paddock, it's got the half that we didn't actually bale, so there'll be a bit there, but we'll just see how we're going for time as to whether we get that done. So it's pretty much the way I thought it was going to. So all I've done really is, there's not a lot of stuff on the ground here, so that'll incorporate all right. Some of you are probably saying we should just be sort of disking it in anyway, but we need to get a pretty good seed bed for the loosen. You know, if it was corn again, well, we probably wouldn't worry about it too much. But yeah, we just needed that. We need to get a good seed bed for the loosen. So I've just run up and down each check back effectively where we didn't mulch or rake, and then we had a couple of piles of rubbish there. I've run around and burnt them, and then there's a couple of windrows that didn't get picked up with the baler when we were doing the hay. So yeah, I think, I don't know whether the wind probably has dropped off a little bit too, which isn't helpful for us, but it has got a bit overcast as well. So yeah, I don't think I'll have a crack at the other one today. I'll just I might try and do it tomorrow or maybe Sunday. See, but yeah, that's sort of going to be about it. It'll just be more smoke than anything else. Righto, back at the workshop. So we've abandoned the burning for today. Hopefully tomorrow it might warm up a bit and we can get that other one done. What we've been sort of mucking around with here is a little fence line sprayer. So that's a little tank that goes in the back of the side by side that we usually set up for spot spraying, burrs and that sort of thing. So, but we have had a boom in the past, but it's a bit rickety and buggered and a bit wide. So this boom will just be the same width as the buggy. So, and then we've got a fence line, what they call a fence line sprayer on each side. So that'll, you know, spray out a bit further. The pump was buggered, so I've gone to a new Flowjet 12 volt electric pump, and then what I'm going to do is basically split the boom in half. So I'll have two on-off switches, and we can either have the whole boom running at once or just one half. So I've had to put a drain in the bottom of the tank, and then I've put a new suction, 3/4 suction in the bottom of it. I've got a couple of filters here. There's another one kicking around here somewhere over there. Just got to mount all this up. Got a bit of hose here and that. I had to get a few more fittings this morning that I didn't quite have. So we'll have a suction out of the bottom of the suction filter out of the bottom of the tank, and then I'm going to put a filter on the pressure side too, so we're nice and filtered. And then we'll put a T in it for a handgun, so we can do a bit of spot spraying as well. So there's the handgun on the ground there, but we might get a new one, I reckon. So they just run on a set pressure. So basically, if you've got it running and you turn the valves off, we've got these little 12 volt valves. Turn the valves off, the pump just stops. It reaches pressure and it turns off. So pretty simple and good. So yeah, two valves in the middle and a couple of switches, and yeah, should be right. So I'll muck around with this for an hour, and then what are we up to? 3 o'clock. We might muck around until 4 o'clock, and then footy train tonight, so I've got to go in there, but I might even knock off a bit earlier and go to the gym. What do you think, Jesse? Perhaps you need to come and spend a bit of time on the treadmill. Get a few pounds off for sheep chasing season. What do you think? So design on the go. What we've got is these two valves, and what I'm thinking, I probably need to get some more bits and pieces here, and we might, rather than using a bit of hose, we might try and hard plumb them together. Get a threaded nipple, and we can get a threaded T and tie them together. And then effectively, if you had those two together, we need to come off there somehow. So we need an elbow probably. I might have to put another bar through there just to sit them on. And then we've got to go down to this couple of hose barbs there for either side. So we probably need a couple of elbows to head that down and around. So I probably haven't got all the bits. I need another switch too. I've only got one 12 volt on-off switch. So we might get a few more bits and pieces, I think, but we're getting there. Like it doesn't have to be too fancy. And want to try and keep the weight down too without getting too carried away. So anyway, piles. I've got a couple of piles of sticks smouldering down there. There's a big dead tree there I want to try and burn out, hopefully, before it's all sort of rotten up the guts before it falls over and hurts somebody. So hopefully it might have caught on. Sarah went out and picked Tony up. He's got had one load out. He's got a few sticks and that going out the back too. So took the rest he filled up here, took a load from here. So he came back, Sarah got him, and he's taken the chemical and the pump and all that out there. So I don't think he was going to do another load this afternoon, but he probably, way it's turned out, he probably has got time to knock out another 30 hectares or something like that. So anyway, that might nearly do for this one. Let the lambs out this morning. They're all happy. We'll leave them there for a couple of days. They've got plenty of pick there. So, and then we'll get them back up. We might do it early next week, perhaps get them up onto the rice ground. And I spoke to Rob, who lives in the house that's going to do the fencing here on the feedlot. So he's actually away in Melbourne for a few days. So when he gets back, I redrew up the plan this morning. So 30 by 40 metre pens. I haven't actually showed you what the feeders look like. So we've got these couple of head units here before I knock off on this one. So they're a 12 volt thing. I probably can open that for you. We have used these, so they've got a 12 volt motor in them with brains. These are made locally. And then couple of solar panels there. So there's one flat packed there on the ground. So I've never actually used them. I've used the head units, and we just made troughs ourselves. So come in here, I'll show you. You'll get a bit of an idea of what we're talking about. Yeah, because I keep talking auto feeders, and you're probably thinking, what's this bloke talking about? So we put one together. I bought them originally. I was going to set them up with the twinning ewes out in the paddocks, so you didn't actually have to go in and feed them. But the problem was we still had to check the ewes each day anyway. So the way we sort of manage it now with smaller paddocks and that sort of stuff, it works probably better anyway. So this is what we've got. So effectively we'll have 30 metres of these things. So they've got what they call a scentless auger, and actually there is some there. So it's an auger that doesn't have a guts in it, and it goes up that PVC pipe, and then that PVC pipe has got slots in it. So that effectively sits like that, and it just drops, the grain drops in there, and the sheep can get in from either side of it to graze, to eat. So we've got enough. We've got enough to set one up. So yeah, whether we make another setup or whether we just go and buy another, it'd be interesting to know. They come in 3 metre sections, so it would be interesting to know what it would cost to buy them now. At the time when we were talking about doing it ages ago, it was sort of $800 every 3 metres. So whether we, go and buy another 30 metres to set the other one up, because we'll want 30 metres of trough space. So yeah, I don't know, I haven't worked that out, or whether we look at folding it up and making something similar to that ourselves and alter it a little bit, because there are a few things we've picked up since we got these that, yeah, to make them a bit different. So that's the feeders that will go in the feedlot. So yeah, and we're just going to put the pad down and sit them down on the pad, not put a concrete pad down. You'll see in time what we're going to do. So anyway, so yeah, once Rob gets back, we can I'll show him what the go is, and we can start and get a bit of fencing gear, and yeah, but it's going to work out all right. So anyway, that'll do. I hope you enjoyed this one. Yeah, a bit of everything going on, as I kept mentioning. So there's no shortage of variety of content at the moment. So yeah. All right, thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.